It's been almost 7 years, but people still talk about it as one of the most shocking endings to a WrestleMania, the heist of the century. What might surprise you is that this was all a part of the Messiah, Seth Rollins' master plan from the get-go, and WWE just went along with it. Well, he isn't the only one. I'm Kevin, and here are 5 times that WWE granted wrestlers their wish. Before we get going, why have you not hit the subscribe button yet? If you already have, hit the like button, then jump into the comments, then share the link so you don't stink. Number 5, Roman Reigns requests to turn heel. Let's start with a bang. Reigns' return in 2020 may not have happened in front of fans, but it kickstarted one of the most important WWE runs of the last decade. That's right, WWE did something in a storyline that was irrefutably awesome. Jump into the comments and yell at me about it. After 5.5 years of a fan clamoring WWE audience saying, why can't he just be a villain? Roman Reigns became a villain. Just as fans and industry insiders had anticipated, it was an instant success. Roman Reigns was finally able to tap into another layer of his character that we had never seen before, but knew was just brimming under the surface. And then there seems to be no argument that he is the most popular wrestler in all of wrestling today. In early 2021, Roman Reigns simply let it out of the bag that he always wanted to turn heel, and that he finally convinced Vince McMahon to let it happen at SummerSlam 2020. The tribal chief added, you gotta have the big man involved, and you gotta have the blessing from him. It just all seemed to work out for the perfect timing, baby girl. I added the baby girl part. I just assume he says that. I'm pretty sure some people in the audience would really like if Roman Reigns called them baby girl. It's interesting to note that WWE Universal Champion pointed out the numbers not allowing him to turn into a villain. Reportedly, Vince McMahon was adamant for years about keeping Roman as a babyface hero, despite the polarizing reactions that fans were giving him weekly until last year. How do you feel about Roman as a heel, and how do you feel about him as being one of the most popular wrestlers in the business today? Let us know in the comments below. Number 4, Goldberg's Super Showdown request. While Billy Goldberg might shy away from it, there's no denying that WWE likely grants him far more creative power than most on the current roster. He is a ratings draw for WWE. That's right, he is, and there are always more eyes on the product when he's around, whether you choose to accept it or not, you angry members of the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community. Yeah, if you use that term unironically, just calm down a little bit. In early 2020, Goldberg emerged as an unexpected contender to WWE's most protected star, the Universal Champion at the time, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Goldberg defeated the Fiend and snapped Wyatt's incredible winning streak at that time, leading to outrage online from the WWE Universe. According to WrestleZone, Goldberg pushed for the title to change and bargained for creative control as he felt the Fiend was a monster and that the younger fans needed to see him come out victorious because he was a superhero or it would ruin his character. Although Goldberg has always denied such claims, that doesn't seem unbelievable at all, does it? To borrow a phrase from legendary rapper Old Dirty Bastard of the Wu-Tang Clan, Goldberg is for the children. Number 3, Becky Lynch's request for a heel turn. Becky Lynch's return to WWE in 2021 took a few more months than anticipated. When it finally happened, it was at SummerSlam 2021 in Las Vegas, and her return wasn't originally announced until the last minute. While it looked like Carmella would be the replacement for Sasha Banks in a title match against Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch made her return and dethroned Belair in just 26 seconds to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. It was gradually understood that the man would be working as a villainous character post-SummerSlam, although she was a babyface before her maternity leave. At first, WWE was criticized for the mishandling of Bianca Belair and the bizarre turn that they decided to do with Becky Lynch. How can they do this? How come they didn't ask us first? Speaking to the New York Daily News, Becky Lynch said it wasn't as much of a heel turn as it was her getting smarter. Sorry for the accent change there. Since this was the most recent occurrence on this list, it will be interesting to see how this plays out. How do you think it'll play out? Let us know in the comments below. Number 2, Seth Rollins' win at WrestleMania 31. WWE had a problem at WrestleMania 31. The scheduled main event between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns was supposed to culminate in the big dog winning his first ever WWE World Championship. It was meant to kickstart his run as a new baby-faced hero of the WWE, but the universe kind of didn't buy into Reigns as the top star in early 2015. Instead, Seth Rollins made history by becoming the first and only person to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania and won the championship from the Beast incarnate at the event. In an episode of Edge and Christian's Podcast of Awesomeness, Rollins revealed that he pitched the cash-in idea to Triple H and told him to keep it in the back of his mind in case, plans change, pal. I just wanted to remind him that I have an idea on the table and it could easily be a contingency plan if the main event at Mania doesn't come together the way you see it. Just putting it out there. I'm Seth Rollins. This is it. Here it comes. It's number one. Number one, Stone Cold Steve Austin's demand from the WWE. It's safe to say that there will never be a babyface hero in WWE who can ascend to the heights of Stone Cold Steve Austin. WWE in the past has built their company around all-time great heroes like Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Bret Hart, John Cena, and even Roman Reigns for that matter. But none of them have evoked the same reaction every single week as the working class badass Stone Cold Steve Austin. When speaking to Chris Jericho on the Talk Is Jericho podcast, Austin said that his heel turn at WrestleMania X7 was his idea and admitted that it was one of the two worst calls he ever made during his WWE run.
It was the worst call I ever made other than refusing to job to Brock Lesnar in Atlanta, but that was my idea.
I have to cough after I do that. It's hard to make that voice work. Steve Austin added how Vince McMahon always prefers to do something big at WrestleMania, and as he didn't have anything big planned for the show in 2001, since WWE just bought WCW, Stone Cold suggested that the storyline to turn himself heel would be that big thing. Although WrestleMania X7 is considered by many to be one of the greatest pay-per-views in WWE history, the heel turn with Austin didn't have the lasting effect that was expected, as many people simply didn't want to hate Stone Cold. WWE granted Stone Cold his wish, but soon had to turn him back to a babyface owing to the reaction from the fans, and then that one time where he came out and gave everyone a Stone Cold Stunner in the Alliance. ECW and WCW had to form an alliance. Remember that? Oh boy.